We're going to focus on presidential powers a little bit, and we're going to zero in on the president's role in dealing with laws, how like proposed bills become laws, like the president's role in the legislative process, the lawmaking process. More specifically, this video is going to focus on a president's formal powers in the lawmaking process. And the word formal just means that we can find these powers listed in the Constitution. So Congress really is the chief lawmaking like body in the United States. They're the ones that propose ideas, debate them, and then vote on them. If Congress comes up with an idea and they vote on it and they approve it, that's just known as a bill. It's like a proposal that they have approved. At that point, the bill goes to the president's desk, and the president has two options. The first option is the president can sign the bill, and it becomes like a new law. It goes into effect. This is President Lyndon Johnson signing the famous 1964 Civil Rights Act with Dr. King in the background. This basically ended all legalized segregation in the United States. So this was a significant law signing. If a president chooses not to sign a bill, he can veto it. So a veto simply is when a bill that is sent to him by Congress is formally rejected by the president. This can be sent back to Congress, and Congress can override the president's veto. It just takes a majority for Congress to approve the bill the first time. In order to pass a bill over a president's objection, it requires a larger number of Congress to agree, two-thirds this time. So that's a veto. That's the other option. There are some other types of vetoes. A pocket veto is like a kind of a special veto. It's when a president refuses to sign a bill that Congress sends to him, but he doesn't actually veto it. He just doesn't take any action within 10 days, and Congress is like, it goes out of session. So Congress is only in session a certain amount of time each year. And basically, if they send him a proposed bill and then they go out of session, and he doesn't take any action within 10 days, it just automatically expires. It's like he shoves the bill in his pocket, like hence the name. And then there is another type of veto that used to be able to be done by presidents that can no longer be done. It's now unconstitutional. This type of veto was constitutional up until like the late 1990s, and then it was declared unconstitutional by a Supreme Court case called Clinton versus City of New York. A line item veto is when presidents would veto part of a bill, but they would also accept another part of that same bill. So they would just selectively decide what part of the bill they wanted to keep and what they wanted to veto. The Supreme Court declared this to be unconstitutional because if a president just vetoed certain parts of a law, it could really change the intention that Congress had when they passed the bill in the first place. So now a president has to either sign the whole bill and accept the whole thing or veto the whole thing and send it back to Congress. If you take a look at some of the more modern presidents, I guess, in American history, excluding Trump and Biden from this chart, you can see that some presidents have a lot more vetoes during their presidencies than others. And one of the major reasons that contributes to vetoes is that most of the higher total vetoes are in presidencies where there was divided government. Divided government is when Congress is controlled by one party and the president is the opposite party. You're much more likely to see a Democratic president vetoing laws passed by a Republican dominated Congress. Um, Conversely, you're probably more likely to see lower veto totals in times of unified government. This is when the same party basically controls Congress and the presidency. You're not going to see a Republican president veto laws passed by a Republican Congress and just make the party look bad. Same thing with the Democrats. So this is one of the key contributors in presidents that have higher veto totals.